Hello, and welcome to another weekly reading. I have chosen this beautiful clarifying fluorite crystal, some vanilla, Madagascar vanilla oil, some Roman chamomile, some little petals, and a few hearty energies, literally. And this is a bit of a gentler week for us in some ways because we're between full on new moon, which are always the bigger lunations of the moon lunar cycle. We've already entered into the solar sign of the season that we're in, which is Leo. So we're kind of in a settling point this week, and it's an opportunity for us to really consolidate and gather our energy and prepare for the next louder energy, maybe we could say. Remember, this is not a personal reading, so you choose a card between 1 and 4. That's going to give you a slightly more personal take on this reading. And then if you are looking for something more personalized, please don't hesitate to check the link below and get in touch with me. I really appreciate all the likes, shares, follows, comments. They help me to keep going with what I'm doing. Now, I don't often talk about my process very much, but when we look at this reading, I am going to get a little into my process and what I am. I am an intuitive empath, psychic healer. There has been a lot of book learning and study that has gone into the years of my work, but there's also been a lot of the studying and honing the skills of the unseen stuff, the intuitive stuff, trusting what I'm getting. And I speak into that, as you will see in a moment. So we are checking out, this is the last week of Mercury in shadow. So Mercury will go retrograde the following Monday. And that's the same day that Venus will change sign. So there's a lot more shift in the following week. Okay, so really leaning into this week. Pick your number between 1 and 4. And let's dive in. So we've got no major arcana this week. We have 2 court cards, the Page and the King, and we're all about earth and fire this week. Pentacles, which are both the right way up, and wands, fire, which are not the right way up. So our earth energy is feeling pretty on, and our fire energy is feeling a little bit off. So here's where I talk about my process because, and I'm not the only intuitive psychic type of person that is speaking into this. It's actually phenomenal. If you start looking on the internet, you'll find so very many of us talking about the shift into new earth and the breakdown to breakthrough of the old structures. It's in the astrology as well. It's in many different languages. So depending on who you follow and who you listen to in terms of podcasting, astrology, card readings, it's just psychics, intuitives, whatever it is, you will see that many, many people are beginning to recognize, or have actually been recognizing for a while, but that it's accelerating to this point of sort of total breakdown of the way the world has been working into the next steps. And so this reading for me is very indicative of that for us on a personal level. Because also one of the things that's important for me is how does that impact me in my life? How do I take what she's saying to me and know how to cope with the highs and lows and confusion within my life? I feel like it's important that we make it practical because not everybody is the president of a country, and not everybody is in those more overt, visible, world-changing dynamics, but we're all changing individually, and this is really, really important, okay? So 8 is the number of the self, and it's the number of business and mastery and work and effort and honing your skills, and much of what I actually just said about the development, for example, of me in my own trajectory, I want you to look at where has that been for you in your trajectory. And in that honing of skills, work put in over time, you can see the moon phases, you can see energy of all the elements represented in this card. She is grounded. Look, she doesn't even need shoes. She has her feet on the ground. She is connected to the cycles, the seasons, the phases, the elements, the practical, the real tangible things. And she has a level of confidence because she has been honing these skills for a very long time. So we go from this really sort of successful place and feeling to I don't know, maybe I am not good enough, maybe I just want to have fun or I just want to rebel because I'm not going to get it right anyway, so I don't know if I should try the thing I need to try. Because the pages bring news, okay? They heralds and they bring us news. They initiate something new, which is very exciting, but also always a little bit scary. And this endings and beginnings is a theme we've been dealing with for a long time. I speak into it often. So here is a page that is fiery, that is full of creativity and dynamism, and really, in her upright form, a courageous creative. So creating that content that you're too afraid to create, saying that thing you're too afraid to say, getting more in touch with your creativity, whatever that is, whether it's more flair in the way you cook your dinner, it doesn't have to be seen by the world, or whether it goes to the other extreme where you suddenly launch a podcast or something like that. It doesn't matter what it is, but it is going to be the place where you're feeling resistance and fear. And that's kind of where you need to lean in right now, because there is a level of newness. So I'm coming from this confidence, this knowing, this mastery, and I have to step into something I don't know, and that's terrifying for me. But there is going to be a lot of what you've brought through from this Eight of Pentacles is going to come through into the next thing. But initially, you may not see how. You may not know how starting a podcast is going to align with the previous work you did, which seemed completely different, for example. And that's because you have to get started to realize, but none of your time and investment, Eight of Pentacles, is wasted. So to turn this Page of Wands around, you need to find that courage to listen to the inner herald, or even the outer herald. So maybe there's somebody keeps saying to you, and I'm just going to use this analogy, obviously it can be anything. Maybe somebody keeps saying to you, you should start a podcast, you're really funny, or you're really informed, and I'm sure more people would like to know. And you're like, no, I just talk to my friends about that. I don't want to get as big as a podcast. Who would listen to me? And then you start into all that inner critic, negative self-talk stuff. But actually realizing that all the work that you've done is leading you into this new creative endeavor. And either the heralds, the pages, are coming from outside of you, people saying things, or there's an internal knowing that this is exciting and terrifying all at once. And that leads us back into a good place. So you see how we've gone earth, fire. And it's like, again, the old and the new, the endings and the beginnings, because the King of Pentacles is an extremely masterful man. He has, and I say man, and it can be a physical man within your life, or you as a man, or if you are not a man, or you are a young woman or a young man, you can see this as the wise masculine part of yourself. So it's not specifically gender related, but it can also be. So this is where, again, intuition and feeling what hits for you, what resonates, and trusting that, because this is not a personal reading. So you're going to say, well, what parts of this are ringing my bell, are sparking my fire? Okay, so the King of Pentacles is very masterful, and he is very practical, and he is very stable and grounded, and he has created all that he needs in the material world. But as we're stepping into this new earth dynamic, what we had in the material world that was safe and secure may not stay safe and secure in the new world. It might not be that those things that made you feel safe are the things that will make you feel safe in the future. So there is this level with this card of, again, trust in what you've produced, trust in what you have created and manifested and mastered and worked towards, and know that nothing is lost. That level of development, personal development, material development, it's not for nothing. Even if things fall apart on some levels, you will know how to get back to feeling the way that this King of Pentacles feels inside of you. And that takes us into a Three of Wands, which is another upside down fire card, which in its upright form is saying, you've done the work and you're just waiting for your ship to come in. When it's upside down, we're kind of, maybe we haven't put the work in the right way or in the right place, or maybe we are under investing where we should be putting in a bit more investment, and maybe we are afraid to invest. So again, with our upside down fires in this reading, I'm feeling a lot of resistance due to fear. And fire is very naturally bold and gregarious and full of courage and spark and spunk. But fire doesn't want to be shown up. So there's that level of, I'd rather not try in case I fail. Whereas I want you to be able to flip this to say failure is not a negative thing. Failure is teaching me how to fine tune, how to master, how to hone. That failed, but I learned something. So it's not really a failure. Maybe it failed as a business endeavor, or maybe it failed as a relationship. But in that business endeavor, you've gotten more clarity and understanding of what would work better. In that relationship, you've realized these are my red flags. These are my non-negotiables. Nothing is wasted. That feels like a really important message of this week for us. First of all, where is the fear? Follow the fear. It's there to guide you. You're actually in the right direction if you feel the fear. When that gets overwhelming, sit back a moment, take a breath, rest in what you have already mastered and developed and what feels stable and secure. But knowing that you're going to have to follow the fire, because nothing at the moment in the world as it is fully stable and secure. And that shouldn't come as a surprise. This devolving that's been occurring for the last few years now, it's something that we can all feel. If we're being honest with ourselves, we can all feel it. That doesn't mean the end of the world. It means a total change, something we cannot yet really fathom. But we're starting to get more and more little flashes and glimpses, because we've been breaking down the old ways for a good few years now. But we really are in the thick of this. It's not done yet. It's going to be a good few more years of development. So again, we have to vacillate between dropping into the practical, dropping into the earth element, into our bodies, into what is my next right step. And then also following the fear, stealing our courage, getting creative and dynamic, and seeing where that takes us. So take this week, because this is one of the calmer weeks, take this week and really sit with these kinds of things, see what hits and resonates for you, and then you are going to feel a lot more prepared stepping into the next week when it gets more Mercury retrograde-y. Venus gets a bit more critical as she steps into Virgo. The retrograde is going to be in that same sort of Virgo-Leo space where we have to get even more intensely reflective. But when Mercury is retrograde, the problems may arise. Whereas this week, we're in the shadow. We're getting hints of themes that we're working with, hints of ideas of where our fear is trying to lead us. So take some time this week to appreciate and consolidate in order for next week to go more easily and fluidly. Have a beautiful week, and I'm sending much love and light. Thank you for your time.